Hi, my name is Jordan Wallace, and I am the pizzaiolo for Pizzeria Locale in Boulder, Colorado. And today we're going to make the dough recipe for classic pizza napoletana. Pizza napoletana traditionally has 4 ingredients: water, salt, yeast, and double O flour. So we'll just get right into it, and follow every step the exact way I do it because the order of the process is important as well. So the water should be cold. It can come straight out of the tap, just cold water. So the base recipe for this would be 1 liter of water. 1 liter of water to 50 grams of salt, or about a quarter cup of salt. So water first, then you put the salt in. And this is actually Sicilian sea salt, but it's comparable to kosher salt, but it's in price anyway. But it's just a cheap Sicilian salt. So you actually dissolve the salt by hand. Once the salt is dissolved, you dissolve the yeast. We're actually using fresh yeast, or baker's yeast, or brewer's yeast. And it's for a 1 liter batch. It's 1.25 grams for a 12-hour rise, but in teaspoons, I believe it's probably about a half teaspoon. So this part's important. What you want to do is make the yeast into a little ball in your fingers, and actually melt it in your fingertips and slowly dissolve the yeast into the water. Alright, so once you have the water, the salt, and the yeast, you want to before you begin mixing, you want to add a good amount of flour. So I add this is a 2-quart container, and I add 1.5 quarts of flour just to start. I believe. And then you can start your mixing. So you have to time yourself while you mix. Oops, that's too fast. You have 20 minutes to mix. It's a 20-minute mix time. You're adding flour for the first 15 minutes, and then with 5 minutes remaining on the mix time, you add your last amount of flour, and then you can't add any more flour. It needs 5 minutes to fully incorporate. So right off the bat, this part is all by eye, the flour. But right off the bat, I can tell it needs more flour. Alright, so it's about 4.5 minutes have gone by already, and as you're adding flour, it'll start to incorporate. And a good sign that you're on your right way towards a good dough is the bowl will actually clean itself. The dough will pick up all the flour off the side, so you can see the bowl's clean on the bottom, and that's a good sign that you're on your way to a good pizza dough. It's important not to add all your flour in the beginning, because if it mixes and incorporates all in the beginning, then you have the whole 15-20 minutes where you're not adding flour, and it can actually heat up in the bowl and damage the dough. So it's important to add a little bit of flour throughout mixing, and then your last amount with 5 minutes remaining, and then nothing after that, and turn it off at 20 minutes, which is also another way of not scalding the dough. You want to add your last amount of flour with 5 minutes remaining. So I can add that last little bit that the flour needs. And that should do it. So then you just let it go for the last 5 minutes, and after that, you take it out, you wrap it with plastic on a countertop and let it rest for 40 before you make the balls for the pizza. So 20 minutes is up, and the dough is what it is because you can't add more flour now. And this is what we're working with. You can see it has a really nice white color. Seems smooth on the outside. You can see my hand sticks a little, but not too much. It's got a good amount of resistance, and this is what you're looking for. And now I'm gonna wrap this with plastic on the countertop and let it rise for 40 minutes, and then we'll make the portion sizes, the balls, which one batch, a 1 liter batch like this, makes about 10 to 12 pizzas.